Am I the a-hole for breaking up with my ex-boyfriend because he tried to tamper with my birth control? I, 23F, broke up with my boyfriend of almost 2 years, Todd, 26M, on Sunday, 2 days ago. I broke up with him because, as the title suggested, he tried to mess with my birth control. I told Todd that I intend to be child-free until I obtain my PhD and get a position with tenure at a university. I told him I was on birth control and had no intention of getting off it, and that it would be better if we doubled up with condoms. He said okay. 2 days ago, we were chilling in my apartment, and I told him I was going to take a bath and listen to one of my audiobooks. I heard the microwave go off and thought that Todd was making mac and cheese or something. I hopped in the tub and was about to start when I remembered I had a bath bomb that I was gifted at my friend's baby shower. I got out of the tub to get it from my room and found Todd messing with the pill packet I keep next to my bed. I have a missing gallbladder after several attacks, and I have to take prescription laxatives sometimes to be able to control my poop. The packet looks similar, and by similar, I mean almost the exact same, to a birth control packet, including the silver foil and the colour of the pills. I asked him what he was doing, and for him to hand me my pills. The package was warm. I asked him what the hell he was doing with my pills, and he broke down about how he's successful in his job, and I should want to have a family with him after 2 years. I told him to get out of my apartment, and before I slammed the door on him, let him know I had an arm implant birth control and that he microwaved my shit pills. I blocked his number, but he's been contacting me through my university email and is refusing to take no for an answer when he apologizes. His mum's been texting me, as well as some of his friends and his sisters, telling me I'm juvenile for breaking up with him when I knew he wouldn't have been successful in tampering with my birth control because I wasn't on the pill anyway. I feel so angry and violated, but they're right. Nothing would have happened, and I'm starting to think I overreacted. Am I the a-hole?
Am I the a-hole for outshining the bride? So I, 27F, am a Black African woman. I'm living and working in Germany for a fixed period on secondment. While here, I became quite friendly with a colleague, 60F, and she invited me to her daughter's wedding. I was excited as I've never been to a white wedding. I asked if there was a dress code chart color scheme to adhere to, since it wasn't specified on the invite. I was told the code is dress to impress. Bet, on the day of the wedding, I understood the assignment. I wore my traditional wear, which is really beautiful and obviously not German. The garment is green, so no problem there. Or so I thought. I got a lot of questions and compliments at the wedding, which I genuinely downplayed because it's not my day. My colleague seemed colder than usual, but I paid it no mind since she's the mother of the bride and could be preoccupied. The bride was downright rude to me, but again, I gave her grace. I congratulated her and thanked her for including me, and I got a tight response in return. I kept to the edges of the room as the music wasn't really my vibe, and I was just observing how European weddings work. I left around 8, after 5 hours, and went home before the wedding finished. Monday, I walked into whispers in the office, people acting strangely and more reserved than usual. An office friend pulled me aside and filled me in. The bride's mother is fuming. My outfit was too extravagant, OT'd, and inappropriate. I drew attention from the bride and commandeered the room. I was rude and disrespectful. She's told people all about it, apparently. I approached Emob and asked to speak, but she said she had nothing to say to me. I asked her why she had something to say to everyone else about me, but not to me, and she called me an insolent child. I explained to anyone who scolded me that this was my first white people's wedding. I specifically asked what to wear and followed the guidelines. Where I'm from, there's no such thing as outshining the bride. Weddings are a fashion show and a chance to wear your best and brightest clothes. They told me this isn't Africa, which was racially coded, and people here have manners. I laughed and told that person to go to hell, so she's telling people I lack remorse for my behavior. I'm wondering if I really am the asshole, though. Edit. The dress inspo I showed to my tailor is now on my profile to help you. Edit 2. I'm about to board a flight. Someone told me to go back to my country, so I'm doing just that. Thanks for the feedback. I'm guessing not the asshole, but could have inquired further done research. Fair. Some of y'all are so pressed about the WP wedding. It literally means it's the first wedding I've been to, where the bride, groom, and wedding party are white. It's really not that deep. Thanks for the engagement and see ya.
Am I the a-hole for telling my husband to back off of my son? My husband and I have been together since my oldest, 13, was 2. I was told years ago I would never be able to conceive another child due to only having one fallopian tube, one had to be removed, and having significant scarring. However, we did end up pregnant last year by some miracle, and I just gave birth to our daughter 3 weeks ago. Everyone was over the moon, including my son. He had wanted a sibling and had been asking since he was easily 3 or 4. But my husband is weird now. Or at least in my eyes. And I guess that is what I'm here to talk about. So, if my son kisses the baby on the forehead, my husband starts freaking out. Don't you ever kiss that baby again. That's disgusting. You could give her a virus, etc. If my son moves even a centimetre while holding the baby, my husband is freaking out. Don't move like that. You're going to hurt her head. If my son blows raspberries on the baby's belly, my husband tells him to stop, saying he's being too rough. He has become an overprotective helicopter parent, filled with paranoia and anxiety, but refuses to be seen by a doctor. And it's just, I'm starting to rage, to a point where I have an appointment to get tested for postpartum rage, but I truly don't think I have it. I think my husband is triggering me, but here's the massive issue. My mother-in-law came here yesterday and full-on kissed our daughter right beside her mouth, and my husband didn't say anything. Just sat there smiling. So I stepped in and said exactly what he said to my son. I said, "Don't you ever kiss that baby again. That's disgusting. You are going to give her a virus." She immediately stopped, but then she started swinging our daughter in a football hold with her head pointed down toward the floor. She was going pretty fast, to a point of a startle reflex. So I immediately told her to stop holding the baby like that, and that she's being too rough. She says, "I've had 4 kids, I am not dumb." So I said, "I don't care." She stops, hands off the baby, and then left maybe 5 minutes later. My husband asks why I'm being such an asshole to his mom. So I said, "Why are you being such an asshole to my son?" He asked what I meant and asked for examples, so I gave him the side-by-side comparison examples of his mother versus my son. He shakes his head and said, "I'm making shit up." I know for a fact I'm not making anything up at all. I've spoken to him before about getting off my son's case, and said plainly to back off my son, or I'm going to treat all of his family members the same way he's been treating my son due to his paranoia, and it will make it so no one comes around anymore. He says I'm taking shit too far, that kids have germs and are more rough and clumsy. I told him I didn't give a fuck. And yes, I have talked to him about his comments to my son, right in front of my son, and in private. He says I'm blowing things out of proportion,